Welcome to Adventure Freaks, a podcast on living abroad on a budget.
All right. Today I'm with my new amiga, Renata Valentina Montemayor. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Did I do a pretty good job?
Yeah, great job.
All right. And thanks for joining the podcast, Renata. I appreciate it. Renata lives in this really extraordinary town called San Miguel de Allende in Mexico. And it's become this really popular hotspot in Mexico that a lot of expats have caught on to. And she's going to share in more detail what that's about. She's originally from Laredo, Texas. She's lived in Austin, Texas. And what is the other town in Texas you lived in?
San Antonio.
In San Antonio. Okay. And she is the owner of Texican Gypsy. And Texican Gypsy can be found on Instagram. It's Texican. And then Gypsy, she's the owner, and she works in rehabbing furniture. Is that correct?
That's correct. Rehab, refurbish, upcycle, restore.
Okay, awesome. All right, so Renata, so the first, let's look at a map so we can help people understand where this is. Let me share the map here. So
I think that's cool you're doing that. I love it.
Yeah, so here we are. So this, I mean, when I saw the pictures of San Miguel, I was like blown away. I mean, this place is just gorgeous.
It is.
So it looks like it says it's about 150 miles north of Mexico City. So I'm going to zoom in here. Mm-hmm. And here it is. And it looks like there's some kind of a lake or something close by.
Yeah, you can actually see it from my home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, is that a mountainous region there?
It's a very mountains. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Mountainous region. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the picture here is just absolutely stunning. So let's start by telling us, a little bit about your story and how you found San Miguel.
So I, being originally from Laredo, Texas, San Miguel is a place where many actual Mexican nationals or border people or Hispanic people were familiar with Mexico, enjoy visiting. It usually I would travel in my 20s and I'd take a bus from Laredo, and it was a 10-hour bus ride from Laredo, and a bunch of friends would all go together. We'd stop in León, Guanajuato for a little bit. That's a great place where you can find amazing weather. Then Querétaro is another beautiful, it's a neighboring state and city. From there, you go to San Miguel de Allende, and then you go to Guanajuato, this is the capital city. And it's also very famous for its beautiful buildings and so on and so forth. So it was something that I did in my youth, and it was fun. The nightlife, the music, the food, it was affordable. I was a school teacher at the time, so I would do it, maybe during spring break or summer, New Year's, and it just was the easiest way to have a great time and just kind of feel at home.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I discovered it by myself. Well, with friends in my 20s. And I continued to come. And for a while, it wasn't very safe to travel on the roads. So you'd have to fly over and get into Mexico City, whatever. And I continued to visit. I brought my daughters here a few years ago. They loved it, and they understood the, attraction I always had to it. So much so that my oldest daughter decided to get married here in June.
Oh, wow.
So,
yeah, that's congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you discovered San Miguel in quite some time ago.
Yes.
You used to take a bus years ago from Laredo to San Miguel. It's a 10-hour bus ride. So that had to be a blast with your friends.
It was. We were able to take a backpack with beers and just.
Yeah.
And
so So then you guys, so San Miguel though, back then, I mean, now I hear everybody talking about this sensational place and I can see why. It's stunningly beautiful. But back then, were there any expats there?
It was always sensational. There
Yeah.
were expats. There were plenty of them.
Huh.
The something there, I cannot, and I wish I'll do a little bit of homework and get it back to you, but there was a slow movement. That had to have been the time when people started to go, 15, 20 years ago, or to come over. And as they would come over, the neighbors would find out, the cousins, the friends, like, wait, why did you leave Chicago? Or why did you leave Minnesota? Or how did you find this place out? Condé Nast today makes it one of the most beautiful places to be or to reside in.
Yeah.
Back then, I'm not really sure how word got around, but people knew about it. And it was most cost efficient 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. So many people ended up selling their home, which they no longer had a mortgage on. Their kids were already out of college, sold their home, grabbed their cash, came over here, maybe bought a house for a couple $100,000, and live on their pension.
Yeah.
And other people have caught on. A lot has changed though. So from 20 years ago, there were expats. Now it's mostly all expats.
Yeah. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. So when where are people actually coming from? Are there any from Europe? Are there people in
There
are
are.
they, there are. Okay. Is it a
There
very
are.
yeah. Does it have an international vibe or is it primarily most of the people that you meet, are they from the US?
Thus far, it's the US.
The US.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and a lot of Canadians.
Okay.
Canadians, people from the US. You will find a sprinkle of Europeans
Mhm.
that like it here and
Yeah.
will come in and but it's not, it doesn't feel like a metropolis. It doesn't feel like it just feels like a really beautiful city
Yeah.
with a lot of Americans in it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, what makes it special? Why are people flocking to this place? What makes it special? Does it have that? I mean, I remember years ago when, they started ranking cities in the United States. And I remember like seeing Austin always as the number one place to move to in the US. This is like 20, 25 years ago. Then the second year, it was the number one place to move, the number one city. And then all of a sudden, everybody started moving to Austin and it
And that's why we
exploded.
look often.
Yeah, and it became this place where everything was super, super expensive now. But is that what happened with San Miguel? What makes it special? What is it about it?
I will tell you what makes it special. When I realized the very first bus trip that I took, I remember pulling in, and get this, I had already heard of San Miguel through friends in Laredo. Their family had homes in San Miguel already. Maybe, their family was from Guanajuato. So, I'd heard of it. I had never traveled there.
Mhm.
I happened to have a couple of friends who were in medical school, and he was from Peoria, Illinois, and he had heard of it. And I was like, mm.
Hmm.
And he said, let's go, let's do this bus trip. And I said, sure. They said, well, will you translate for us? Absolutely. But he had heard of it. I had heard of it as well, but I thought that was odd that he was from Peoria and he knew about it and he really wanted to come. So I remember when the bus landed, back then it would drop you off like at the corner inside town. I don't know where it leaves you anymore, but
Mhm.
you open your eyes, grab your bag, and you just look up, and it's magical. It's just magic.
Hmm.
And I've been very, very lucky and blessed and fortunate to have traveled a lot extensively throughout the world, but there is something about the energy when you just stand in here. This is a colonial city. Therefore, what that means is when Mexico was colonized, the Spanish influence is very prevalent.
Mhm.
Cobblestone streets, The style of architecture is very European.
Yeah.
It feels like you're in Europe, but it's Mexico. So can you imagine blending these two beautiful, Spain and Mexico, and just blending the energy, the styles? It's not like Mexico City, or it's not like it. It's just, there's music. The cathedral has this powerful energy, or the parroquias, it's, whether you're Catholic or not, it's majestic. The town square is amazing. It's full of children and older people and young people and lovers, and mariachis playing, and it goes on every night. The vibe is so it's amazing. The colors, and just the sounds and the smells. You can't forget them. You just forget them, and you want to be there. And it's like anything else that's wonderful. You don't want it to end, and it doesn't.
Yeah. Wow.
You wake up to it, and you go to bed to it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, just the way you described that, I want to be there right now.
Well, you're welcome to come. I've got an Airbnb. Yeah.
I definitely gotta visit this place. It's just how you just described it is everything that I love. And I know what you're talking about. Just when you travel a lot and you step into these destinations that they have this beautiful architecture in every direction you look in, the landscape is just awe-inspiring. There's just something about it. You're right. It is an energy that you experience, and it's just like, wow, these places are so memorable when you have those experiences. And then there are some people that are fortunate like you to go, I'm gonna decide to live here, and call it home, and that's just really awesome. Now, has it affected or impacted like the excitement around this city? Has it impacted the Mexican heritage there? Does it feel like there's still a strong Mexican heritage in San Miguel?
Absolutely, because I do vividly remember, and I still, now that I'm here, residing here, the expats that have been here the longest do an amazing job of preserving the culture, the music, of making sure that Walmarts are not allowed here, that the Home Depot stays in Querétaro, that the airport, it's difficult to get in here. This is part of the enchantment. Like, you got to be a trekker, you got to really be an adventurer.
Yeah.
To get here. And then it's worth it once you arrive. No, there are many expats, like I said, who fight tooth and nail to keep the integrity of the Mexican culture. There is a Starbucks here in the city center. I don't know how it got here. I don't know where it's still here. And there's such amazing coffee, like the coffee in every corner that's locally owned.
Yeah.
I just don't know how Starbucks snuck in, but they're here.
Wow.
Nothing against Starbucks. It's just that I think that there's enough local coffee shops that are Mexican owned that could use the sale, if you will, or the So, but for the most part, that's the only difference I've seen. I did have a mini heart attack when I saw it a few years ago.
Yeah.
But no, nothing. Anymore on social media, you can hear how these expats, the newer ones, try to change things. And it's part of the American culture.
Yeah.
That where they feel that something should be done or not done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's something very beautiful and confusing about being a border town individual.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get the best of both worlds, and you're American and super proud when you need to be, but you're also very Mexican when you need to be.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you see some things and you hear some things, and it's easier to discern when you've been raised in a bi-cultural world. And so it's hard, it's difficult for, I guess, to explain to some people who arrive here that you can't come in here and try to alter the Mexican vibe because it doesn't suit you.
Yeah.
Has there been an attempt? Sure. A perfect example, fireworks on December 12th. It was a huge deal here. And before anybody did their homework, they didn't understand what it was. What are all these fireworks? My dogs are scared. Oh my God, are these people crazy? They should make it illegal. It sounds like bombs. It sounds like a war. How dare these people? This is so archaic. But on December 12th is the Virgen de Guadalupe, which is the Mexican virgin that everybody heralds. Like it is probably more important than Christmas here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And New Year's. You know, you have processions all over the world with the Virgin Mary, you know, and every country has their designated Virgin Mary, and the Virgin de Guadalupe is the one. And on December 12th, it's ridiculously loud with fireworks. And so maybe some people, maybe it would be prudent for some people to learn a little bit about the history, the religion, and the culture and the lifestyle. Trying to impose a change, create laws to adjust something that has existed for so long.
Yeah.
You know.
And there's been attempts to do that by expats?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Now, I cannot confirm this, but on December 12th, this past one, a really large local shoe manufacturer did burn down on that evening. Nobody, it has not been said whether it was fireworks that caused it or it could have been something else.
Yeah.
That hasn't been brought up, but you will hear a lot of expats saying, you see what happened, you know, the fireworks burnt this place down, and, you know, now there are all these employees who are displaced or they don't have anywhere to work. And yeah, so terrible things can happen, but you know, you like I said, it's a difficult thing to try to explain to some people. Yeah,
I've had several conversations on the podcast about kind of what you're talking about, and I really, I think that, with people that are emigrating to other countries and saying, I'm going to call this country my home, I just think it's so important to take an interest in that country and the heritage and learn about it and learn the culture and learn the language. And there are some people that obviously don't have really much of an interest to do that. And it's like, I don't understand why are they going to these countries? And obviously the one reason is to stretch out their income, right? Stretch out their income and live larger. But to me, I almost feel like it's just sad. It's harmful to the country and the heritage when people go there and have no interest in the country, in their culture or any of that. And I'm glad that there's enough people in San Miguel that are aware of that and are doing everything that they can to sustain the culture and heritage of that city. I don't like that you said there is a Starbucks there. That's scary to me. And I could.
Yeah, it bothered me. I was like,
oh man,
how did this get here?
Yeah, no, that would put a, I'd feel something drop in my stomach if I got up one day and see, oh, they're what are they building there? What's that?
It's right at the city center. I'm like, why couldn't, but Starbucks is all about real estate, really, mostly. So yeah.
Well.
No, I got that feeling, and I've made it a point to never step foot in there. So no.
Yeah.
And I buy local coffee, and so yeah, and there's plenty of delicious local coffee. But yes, I have met plenty of expats from the US, and I have seen and read plenty of people who, on social media, kind of feel like it's okay not to learn the language because everybody else speaks English. And that I'm not saying everybody. There are some amazing people who have come in here and they've immersed, and their Spanish is amazing. And I mean, there are some super cool groups. There's this one gentleman, Waylon. What he does is he collects funds from people, from the locals, and he helps traveling Mexican artists to come and paint murals in certain parts of the town, and pay them, make a collection to pay them, feed them, pay for their paint, and so on and so forth, in order to kind of encourage. It's a little bit American. The concept's a little bit like an Americanized concept.
Yeah.
Murals on walls isn't a huge thing in San Miguel de Allende. That wasn't a thing before. You see it in Austin, you see it in San Antonio, you see it in New York, and you see, but it is a very, that's not to say that, people don't appreciate it or don't like it. There is an area that cannot be touched. And the historical area is one that the city, the country, everybody will just say, not here. Like, so it's really neat. I've also met a lot of individuals that are expats that help take care of animals that are on the street, that need spaying, neutering, taking care, that are hurt. So you see a lot of altruism from expats, and it's beautiful. With that being said, you also see a lot of people who come here, and the locals notice it. They say, look, they come here, they play bridge in their own homes. Their home's already paid for. They cook and eat in their own homes. They make their own coffee at home. There are no dollars being circulated by them. They will make it a point to spend $20 on meals, and like for an entire week. And that's actually possible. Actually, I mean, street food and things like that. But yeah, so I mean, are they pouring, whether it be money, goodwill, or whatever, to the community? Probably not. And there are a lot of people like that as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of sprinkled a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's not everyone, but it's visible.
Yeah. Now, it like in the main central area of San Miguel, has it pushed a lot of the people that were originally there out, and it has expats pretty much bought it all up?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Turned them into restaurants, bars, pretty much. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, if you take a look around, you realize that there were residences, and that's just, I guess, how it works,
Yeah, pretty much everywhere. That's kind of how it works. So let me get to the question about San Miguel. Like, this is Mexico, and you're right. I mean, when you look at where it's located, it looks like it's quite a trek to get there. It's off the beaten path. So does that still make San Miguel affordable? I mean, is it affordable to live there?
Affordable is relative. So
it is, yeah.
For example, in Austin, to rent a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home around the city center, or around, like, of Congress, if you will, or whatever, I was paying $2,000. Okay. And that's on the lower end. But on average, for a home, you can spend minimum of $2,500 in a nice area. If you're trying to stay, like I said, in the city. In San Miguel de Allende, you can find a home for rent from $500 all the way up to $4,000. It depends on where you want to be. They do ask for either the first and last month as a deposit. It can be affordable. It definitely can. this home that I'm in is a 4-bedroom, 4-bath. And I have the permission from the owner to sublet as an Airbnb. So I don't need all the 4 rooms. So I'll sublease, or I'll Airbnb, 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms. And so that is, but the rates are very low here. So you can come here and stay at an Airbnb for fairly cheap, for a reasonable price, depending on the time of the year.
Yeah.
So I think it can be affordable. If you are a digital nomad per se,
Yeah.
I'm not, right? If you're a digital nomad and you're from California, you're from Portland or Austin, and the pandemic hit, and you're like, I'm gonna go find some cool place to live. Let's say you make $7,000 to $8,000 a month. You could live in a beautiful home for $1,000 to $1,500. You can have a garden, you can have a gardener, you can have a housekeeper, you can have a cook. Usually the housekeeper can cook for you. The grocery is reasonable. I mean, grocery shop, you can go to the fresh market, and it's so delicious. It's so, it almost feels like a sin, how relative, how affordable it is. I guess I don't want to say cheap, it's affordable.
Yeah.
And so it's good because at least we know the prices haven't been raised and everybody can afford them. And so in regards to buying groceries, this home in particular does not have central air or heat. We'll see in the summer. I don't believe I need it. But in the winter, you just use a space heater and it works just fine. You don't need a home with central air and heat. And so what that does to your energy bill is it drops it exponentially.
Sure.
Power bill is like $40 a month.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Your water bill is like $14, $16 a month. I mean, unless you have a pool or you got a bunch of kids you're bathing or whatever. Otherwise, it's not crazy.
Yeah.
The internet, I could not believe this. I have fiber optic internet for like $30 a month with cable.
Wow.
Cable and a phone line, and that's total play. Now, with that though, you have to be careful. You have to be sure that where you decide to rent or purchase, the fiber optic lines are actually there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, all those amenities, all those things that we need, internet being one, safety, food, that's all affordable. The housing is it's all very, very affordable.
Yeah, it sounds like it's still very affordable for most people coming from US, Canada, for sure.
Right.
Especially if you can get anything if you can go from 500 to 1,500 and 1,000 to 1,500 and find a really nice house, that's still very cheap. And and it sounds like with utilities, water, you're gonna be below. If let's say you're on the high end, you're renting for 1,500, you'd still be below $2,000 a month.
Well, I mean, and exactly, you're under $2,000. Like I said, a digital nomad or somebody that can run a corporation business out of wherever will definitely benefit. Definitely benefit. And so, yes, it's affordable in that aspect. The restaurant, the dining is also very affordable. You can have a delicious, amazing meal.
Yeah. What is entertainment like if you dine out per month? If you go eat out a couple nights a week, what do you think you spend on that per month?
Okay, for example, today we went. Well, last night we went out. We had dinner at a really great restaurant. For two, I think it was a total. Well, we had one was like a burger. I had steak, 2-3 beers, it was maybe like $47.
Okay.
That.
Mhm.
And then we went out to listen to music, and we got a few tequilas and a few and some beers, and that was, well, we it's in the Hispanic culture. In the Hispanic culture, it is a tradition for one person to pick up the tab.
Mm.
Okay, this
Mhm.
is for the gringos to like really get. I know it may sound weird, but we have a problem with like the shame. There's a lot of shame to making a waiter wait for you to divide every single
Mm.
parties. And so growing up, the head of the household would just take the tab, pay for it. If there were
Mhm.
2 or 3 different families, the next time, the next family does it, and so on.
I
That's
see.
how it is done.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier for the waiter, the establishment, and I don't know. There's just something. Again, it's cultural. Something weird about sitting there splitting up bills, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just cover it, and then we'll get you next time,
Sure.
or you get me next time. So last night's tequilas and beers for 4 people was like $70.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's like $15 a person.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like you guys had a really good time.
Oh, it was a blast. There was salsa music playing,
Oh,
and
nice.
a friend of ours, a local artist who is absolutely amazing, kind of showed us, where one of his murals was at, and it was really kind of neat. And yeah, so we did a lot of strolling. The weather is fantabulous. That's another thing.
Yeah.
During during the day, it's like 70s to 80s.
Okay. Even right now?
Yeah, right now it's warm.
Okay.
And then in the evenings, like about like 6:30, it's 5:30 here. So at 6:30, it'll drop to 60 degrees. And
Oh,
then
wow.
by 8:30, it's 47 degrees.
Wow. That's
It's
like,
kind of cool though, because
yeah.
all you do is layer. Like, oh, this whole shawl concept is it's you like just wear a t-shirt, and if you're a man, just throw a sweater around your waist and wear that in the mornings, because in the mornings it's chilly as well.
Yeah.
And then in the evenings you just throw it on. Another cool thing about these really great rooftop restaurants is you sit up, and also don't even go to a restaurant here if there's no rooftop. But I don't even think that's a thing.
Yeah.
Every single restaurant has a rooftop, and it's just magnificent.
Yeah. Wow.
Again, the magic, you sit up there and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And they're all well equipped with heaters and stuff, and you just want to sit there and look at it. And but many restaurants do this really cool thing where they get these blankets and they have their logo embroidered on it. So if you're still chilly, they'll come and bring one out for your legs or your shoulders, or that kind of stuff, in case you're not prepared.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know the shawl trick, that you wear the shawl around your waist during the day and then throw it over your shoulders in the evening.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Very nice. I love how you're describing. So it sounds like it's just also the weather is very attractive. It's like perfect during the day, and then it drops down to where it makes it really
So cozy.
perfect sleep weather,
Right? It is.
It's
And
like,
if you have like Charlie Riley here, it's great. Yeah.
yeah. Is it humid?
Warm.
Does it get humid there or no?
Uh,
Okay. So it's more of a drier heat.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay.
don't. Yeah.
And that,
People are leaving Puerto Vallarta, if I'm not mistaken, to come here because of the humidity.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. So as far now, that lake that's close by, do people go swimming in the lake?
No.
No?
I wish I could tell you what that lake is for, but it's you can't really do much in it. No, it's not.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So is it dirty or?
No, I'm not sure what the deal is with it. And I see it you just can't I'm sorry.
People just don't swim in it.
No, it's not like a place where you take your jet skis or anything like that.
Okay.
I don't know what they source it for or what, but it's just not a, not that you just don't go in there.
Yeah, sure. So
Not like there's like dead bodies or anything like, I don't think it's
Yeah.
contaminated or anything like that. I just think that it's not designed for use.
Okay. So for the viewers that are watching, they're going, okay, so I'd really like to consider, I'm going to consider San Miguel de Allende, possibly living there, moving there. What is their requirement? What do they need to show? And the visa required, do you know what they are?
This is like the $1 million question that I'm glad you touched on. Here's the deal. Many expats got here. Maybe it was pre-pandemic or whatever, or during the pandemic. And the aduanales, or the immigration officers, just automatically, whether you flew in or drove in or rode a bus in or however, would just give you 180 days. They'd stamp it and give you 180 days. Yeah. And here's what's happening. It's become a point of contention for these expats, or these want to come and become expats. Many people are very upset because, they got their 180 maybe 2 months ago, but they tried to come back and the officer only gave them 9 days, but they have an Airbnb for 6 months, right? Yeah. And here's the deal. It's Mexico. These are their laws and these are their rules. And so it's presumptuous of us to assume that what worked 6 months ago is going to continue to work. Yeah. What Mexico has caught on to, and I say it in the kindest way possible, they've caught on to the expats that are really not the desirable person that they want here. Not that they're undesirables in the sense that they're bad people. It's that if you're going to come here now, the requirement is that you have $140,000 in savings. Okay. Okay. If you want to live there. If you want to live there. You got to show that. Okay. Yeah. 140 in savings, if I'm not mistaken. And then you want to also, you have to have an income, and it just changed. I think the income was $2,600 to $2,800 a month. Okay. But now they've increased it. So the 140 was an increase, and the actual 3,000 something a month is an increase. Okay. So got all these Americans and Canadians going, why? Like, we used to be able to do this. We used to be able to do that. We could come whenever we wanted. We had 6 months. What's the deal? And you'll have a lot of local immigration attorneys saying, you know why? Because Mexico has caught on to the fact that you guys come here, you buy one home, but you don't spread the wealth. The ideal person coming here is actually the tourist who comes, stays in a hotel, eats at our nice restaurants, engages in all the activities and pays for excursions and leaves. Yeah. They came, dropped the chunk of money, just like anywhere else in the world. And then you go. And residency immigration rules every country has them. Yeah. The irony is that the US's are so stringent that the US citizen would have the audacity to get upset because Mexico actually decides to also tighten up their, belt and say, hey, you know what? You guys are kind of like not really helping, Sure. You're not really doing. So now we need to see that you're worth something. Yeah. Now, it changes though. If you purchase a home, there is a different amount of, I don't think you need the savings anymore. I think you just need to show an income. And that's where, pensions and things like that come in. Yeah. And it works. I'm lucky. I have dual citizenship. So
Mhm.
I don't have to.
So you don't have the same anxieties as all these other expats trying to,
I don't.
yeah.
I really don't. And I can see both sides. I can understand, but
Well,
but
do you feel that the government in Mexico is, like, when you say catching on, are they starting to say, there are a lot of people that come here and all they want to do is take, and they really don't have any interest in this country, and they're
I
catching
can't
on to that?
I can't speak for the government itself. Like
Yeah,
I cannot say, well, yeah, that's what they said, that the presidential,
sure.
no, but I can make a deduction, an assumption,
Yeah.
that may be wrong, by just looking at how the laws have changed.
Hmm.
Now, do they believe that every expat functions in this way? Absolutely not. No, because like I said, they come, they set up some set up restaurants, hire locals. They do actually do amazing things.
Yeah.
I am setting up the Texican Gypsy in Mexico, in San Miguel de Allende. I also have a second space downtown that we're setting up, where I have hired a local to help.
Hmm.
I will source a lot of my material locally. I'm not bringing it from the US.
Yeah.
I am providing an actual product that is made in Mexico and is sold here at a reasonable price, by myself as well as other locals. I like to believe that I don't, I'm not here to just take, right? Of course,
Yeah.
I love the rent price. I love the cost of living and all of that, but I try to be conscientious about, what I give and things like that. And so it's not to say that everybody does, but it is becoming a trend.
Yeah.
And the buzz here is, I've met a lot of people recently who they literally come with nothing, zero,
Yeah.
nothing, a
Yeah.
backpack, and maybe they have a few $1,000s in the bank, and I don't know who told them that they could come here and get this palatial home for $250. You could find a spot for $250. It's not gonna be the nicest place. It's gonna be a little small.
Yeah.
You won't be able to bring your dog and cat. That doesn't exist. So a lot of people are not doing their homework before they come.
Yeah.
It is like due diligence that every individual should have before they go anywhere in the world.
Sure. Sure.
And so just because you heard that your neighbor got this kind of incentive or break or whatever, or that the income amount was this, the rules change all the
Yeah.
time. It's like
Yeah.
they change in the US.
Yeah.
And so you must do your due diligence. You must pick up the phone, call a realtor that works rentals, and don't use Facebook as your like Bible for
Yeah.
how to navigate.
Sure.
Because what works for one individual doesn't work for another one. And I will tell you this is what most people don't like. See, in the aduana, the immigration officer has full authority to decide how many days he wants to give you.
Mm.
There's no playbook, there's no rule, there's no so people are coming in with one-way flights.
Hmm.
They ask, well, where are you staying? Okay, well, where's your other way flight? No, okay, 7 days, boom. Because they know these guys are going to come, hang out at the beach, try to sell seashells by the seashore, be vagabonds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they are. It's visible. They see it in different actions. Like I said, one-way tickets with the assumption that they can stay here however long they want. People staying longer than their tourist visas allow.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
think, it's interesting because you said that there are people that come down, they look for that $250 a month rent, in places like, like San Miguel, that's just really caught on, and it's just gorgeous and beautiful, and a lot of people have discovered it. I think that's very hard to find it in places like that. But I still think it's around Mexico, but you're going to have to go to places that maybe aren't so well known.
Bougie.
Yeah, or bougie. Yeah, exactly.
Because
You're not going to be living in a place like San Miguel where I'm guessing that most people, from what I gather, walk around that town, or they
yes,
jump in a taxi. You don't really need to have a vehicle. Is that
I have
correct?
a vehicle
You
because
do.
I transport a lot of. I came in an SUV, and I do transport like furniture pieces, paint things back and forth from the studio to the house and stuff like that. I'm also on a super high hill, and I want to live. So sometimes I just like to get around. Now, yes, it's ideal. You find a spot in a neighborhood around the downtown area. It's so easy to get around.
Yeah.
The taxis are $3. Somebody was complaining online earlier that why did it go from $2 to $3? Because they can, because
Yeah.
Uber does it, because Lyft does it,
Yeah.
because they have to eat also. And
Yep.
how dare you complain about a $1 increase when we know what we spend for Uber back home? Come
Right.
on,
Yeah, exactly.
And so those are the things that surface. These people, and the issue at hand is many expats are very, very verbal about something so minute like $1.
Yeah.
When you could just walk to a place, you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, and like I said, with the good, there's bad. There are some amazing people who have arrived and have done, like just wonders.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna say that well, actually I thought I forgot what I was gonna say, but
I think the biggest takeaway, I don't want to sound, like an angry,
no, you don't at all.
border town person,
No,
saying,
I think it's very insightful. I think
but I think that the key thing is don't do your due diligence, respect the laws, respect the culture, learn the culture, try to learn a few words. Nobody's telling you have to, learn everything. Walk around with an app that translates for you, please. Anyway, most people speak English. Tip well, okay? The same 20% we tip in the US, just because they told you 10 is normal here, give the 20, if you can do it.
Yes. Yeah.
If you're already used to doing it, what is 20% of, $10?
Yeah.
Meal, come on. They notice this community is very small, very, very small. You're a bad tipper, you just go to listen to music and you drink water. They notice. And so what kind of expat do you want to be when you get here? Do you want to be the one that gives, that is engaging, that is engaged, whether it be in the art, the theater community? Someone just created a brand new theater. I just saw a play last week. It was amazing. It was amazing. Wow. I was so proud. That's where you get real, proud. Like, I'm so glad. And I don't even know where the founder is from, but it's an English speaking theater. And I thought that's cool, and so which expat do you want to be?
Yeah. I think everything you're sharing is very insightful and helpful, because I completely agree with your take on it all. And I'm I call this podcast Adventure Freaks, but I'm a culture freak. That's what makes, and I like to go travel to places and just immerse myself in the culture.
I did it in Sicily. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. I didn't know the words. I didn't have any words. I remember being very angry the first 3 weeks because I was like, you don't have one word in English, not one. Oh, and I had to sit down and talk to myself as you sound like a stupid American. This is why I hate this. I mean, they don't hate us, they love it, but this is why we have a very bad reputation many times.
Sure.
Well, deal with it or leave.
Yeah.
And you just pull your pants up, and the next day you just say, okay, I'm going to sit here all day and I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to bother you. And I'm going to practice my words.
Yeah.
And people love it. People are happy to help. But
Yeah.
if you come here, you know, and don't try, or I do notice many expats do try. I do. And it's really, really sweet. It's neat. I think it is cool. But yeah, the culture is huge.
But it is, there is an arrogance about people that go to a different country and they don't try at all. They go in and and immediately they're speaking their language. Typically, Americans will go in and they'll speak English to somebody who lives in Mexico, expecting them to speak English. And there's that expectation
English
there.
is not the international language.
There is an arrogance to people like that, and you and I agree on that. Yeah,
absolutely. And again, the irony is being in the US, being on a border, you see, we could do a whole podcast on the history of the border and how Laredo used to be, Mexico and so on and so forth. But let's say you're on a border, but let's see, you're first generation US citizen, right? You may not have English words. It may be very difficult for you. You're working, you're this, you're that. So it's hard, right? Second generation will likely learn English because they're put in a school where they learn English. Yep. They are bilingual because their parents at home only speak Spanish, and their grandparents. And the accessibility to the extended family by virtue of just a little river going back and forth enables, individuals on borders to be bilingual, right? But so my argument is that every generation gets better in regards to the language, whether it be when you came from Ireland or Germany or Mexico or whatever. Anymore, living on a border, you hear and see a lot of people say, well, you're in the US, speak English, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have a national language in the United States of America. We don't. No religion and no national language. And so we don't have to, but we should, right? With that being said, these are the same type of people that come with their English to Mexico. And nobody tells them, you're in Mexico, learn Spanish, Everyone's struggling to try to learn the English so they can get the work or get the service, the funds for the service that they're offering. It's if I'm making any sense,
sure. Yeah, well, there's a warmth in the Mexican culture too. I mean, the people are very friendly and kind. I just we just went down, and I went down to Cancun. We spent some time in Playa del Carmen,
one of my favorite places.
And we shot over to Cozumel, and I was with my 11-year-old. He's never been overseas, and he's never been on a plane. So it was an amazing experience. But when we got back, I asked him, what is the thing that you remember the most about the trip? And this is the first thing he said. He goes, how kind everybody was there. In Mexico.
I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah.
And he said, that's the first thing he said. And I said, I am really happy that you were aware of that.
You gathered that.
Because he already, as soon as we returned to the US and got off the plane, he felt the difference. He could see the difference in the way people are. And I'm like going, wow, what a wonderful observation that he had.
For an 11-year-old, yeah.
For an 11-year-old to say that, yeah. So it's very true. It's very, very true.
Yeah, I think that I remember being in college and wanting my friends, that I had met from other parts of the US to come to Laredo and come hang out with us and stay the night and have dinner with us. And many times they'd be like, that was really so comfortable. Your family made me feel like it was like I was part of your family. And it is a very warm culture and warm community. We want everybody to experience all the beautiful things, the food. We want to teach you words. We want to make you try all the food, force it down your throat. We want you to listen to this great song.
Yep.
We and enjoy it as much as we do. We really do. And so we want you to have an amazing experience. And it's just innate.
Yeah.
It's not for any other reason. It's just it just is.
Yeah, there's just this there's this warmth and this humility, but there's also this willingness to just help. And there's nobody trying to be like a smart aleck, like a lot of Americans.
No, sarcasm is not a thing here.
Yeah, it's not a thing. It's just like you ask for help and people are genuinely there to try to do their best to help you. And that's what you know, that's what I know my son noticed and experienced. And yeah, so that's very special. Hey, I wanted to ask you, we went over the rental costs. So what if people wanted to go that route and purchase real estate around San Miguel? What can you purchase a house for nowadays around there? Or like even do they sell like condos or flats?
Yeah, they sell condos, and there's a lot of developments going on. I would say you can get one at around 250. I think 250 gives you a good, safe, large home. Parking is huge too. You want to be able to have parking. It will likely not be in the city. It'll be not that it won't be in the city, but it'll be kind of in the outskirts. And once you are in San Miguel long enough, you'll realize that downtown loses its charm pretty quickly if you were not used to it.
Okay.
You know, the fireworks, the parties, the weddings. This is a #1 wedding destination now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, my daughter will be married here in June. And these weddings are marvelous. They're amazing. They have like these beautiful processions. It's just, I think we want to start working on a little documentary about something called a mojiganga. And a mojiganga is like a paper mache like figurine, like this tall, and they make them to look like a bride and a groom. So there's a part of the wedding is this procession that occurs, like a little march or a little walk or a little before. It depends on when you decide to do it. I think it happens after the church wedding, if you do the church wedding, and to the reception, right? So it starts at a park, and then there are mariachis, the bride and the groom, the whole bridal party, everyone that's going to the wedding, all kind of like walking down the streets, music playing, and then you've got this huge paper mache like bride and groom that are designed to look like the bride and the groom, kind of dancing around. Then there's this really cool donkey, I forget his name. The donkey is decorated, and on his saddle there's like tequila, and everybody has like a ribbon with a clay pot, like those little clay pots, and they just kind of go around serving, and you just shoot tequila. It's just this grand, fun, beautiful party before you start the reception. And so it's so cool that even if you're not in the wedding, you're like, oh, cool, here's another one. And every night you'll see one.
Yeah. So it's just like you say, the energy of the place. That's a big part of it, right?
Yeah, right.
You just feel it. It's constant and it's vibrant and it's always active, and it's really awesome to live in a place like that, for sure.
Yeah. Another major thing to note, and I didn't even touch on it, was the expats that began to come here were artists. Artists realized, like from all over the world, that like Mexican nationals would come here to buy art.
Mm-hmm.
So then they realized, well, sculptors or so on and so forth began to come here and work here, whatever their craft is, whatever their trade is. So,
Mm-hmm.
so many amazing art galleries, so many people doing all kinds of amazing stuff. This is a cultural art. Like,
Yeah,
art is huge here.
yeah, I was reading about that, how I guess some time ago, I'm not sure how long ago, but there was some kind of pandemic that affected San Miguel. And I think I was reading this on Wikipedia.
Okay.
It was talking about how the town, there people were leaving in droves, and the town was becoming abandoned, and then it became rediscovered by an artist and some monk that
Yes.
they named the town after. But artists really rediscovered the beauty of San Miguel and built it back up, and there were more
I
artists
just heard
that
that
moved,
story.
and it turned, but it was,
Sterling Dickinson, I think is the name of the gentleman.
yeah, I forget the name, but they were saying that there was some kind of I was just going, wow, that's kind of wild that I'm doing this interview and reading about, wow, this place had a pandemic, and the town was almost like a ghost town, and then it got rediscovered by these artists, and now there's artists all over the place. And now you're saying that you just started a theater company, which is pretty awesome as well. Do you know what the name of that theater company is by chance?
I can tell you this
Google it
right now because I just bought. The tickets may still be in my wallet.
Oh, okay. And you're going to go see this play?
I already saw it.
You saw
it was amazing.
Okay.
My Brilliant Divorce was the name of the show that we saw.
My Brilliant Divorce. Okay.
And it was just one woman, and she was amazing. She was
one woman show.
That's right.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Divorce, San Miguel de Allende. It's called Casa Negra Performing Arts.
Casa Negra?
Casa Negra.
Casa Negra.
Performing Arts.
Performing Arts. Okay.
Also, I want to tell you about another cool thing I just discovered.
So we just plugged Casa Negra Performing Arts, so you can let her know that she's.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. There is something that many people don't know about that I just discovered. I sourced this seat right here is a very famous, like made in Guanajuato. They're called equipales. It's pigskin with like not really, it's like wood, but it's really a cool looking chair. The idea is you paint on them, you upgrade them, you make them prettier and so on and so forth. So that's my goal. I bought a couple of them. So I ended up buying them from a place that's like a 7-minute drive from where I live. Mm-hmm. And it's a woman from New Zealand bought this entire huge acreage. I don't know how big it is. There was a hotel in there, but now it is turned into, she made like a mini beach in there. Mm-hmm. And then there's the opportunity to paddle board. And then there are bikes that you could use on trails. They have beautiful trails. Then there's a beer garden with local beers. And they're building a hotel. So it's a whole resort, if you will. And you can go there. There are grutas, which is you can go to that particular place for $15 a day and use all of the things that you want to use, chill and hang out at this, the man-made beach or whatever. But that's something that people don't know. Like for the water, people many times when I've told people I'm going to San Miguel, and they're like, is that a beach or is there a beach? Because most people just want to go to the beach. And I'm like, no, but we have hot springs and that's cool too. There are a lot of great hot springs that you can go to, and they have bars in them as well. And they're really, really neat looking. But the hot tub in that resort-y place is a hot spring.
Mm. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's really neat, and I just discovered it a few days ago, but it's growing. So as long as they're building homes and these communities, you're gonna find more droves of people coming. But like I said, with Mexico maybe changing the laws a little bit or the requirements, I think what it does is just pretty much lets people know that you can't really come in, with nothing and try to bargain your, I don't know, painting skills for, a bed. And it used to be that way. It's not
Yeah,
anymore.
but it's changing.
Yeah, it is. You can still find it. I mean, I'm sure I could. I'd like to find an artist who needs a bed and would do a lot of work for me. That would be great. But
Yeah.
just not. It's you gotta have some money. You can't come here expecting it to cost $250 and you're gonna make it.
Yeah. Are you considering purchasing there yourself?
I don't know. I think I mentioned to you about a purchase in Sicily, and
Yes. Yeah.
I have this, without getting extremely melodramatic or personal, I had breast cancer in 2017, and that year was the year that my youngest was a senior in college and my oldest had already graduated. So from 2017 to 2019, there was surgeries and chemo and a lot of recovering to do. That is when I altered my life and decided that I was going to live it however I wanted. With that being said, I did have to sell my home in San Antonio. But then I realized when I sold it, I felt free and free to go to Sicily. And, the investment in Sicily wasn't severe, and free to come to Mexico. And, I can't go back to Sicily because of the pandemic. But then the freedom that not having a mortgage or not gives me is really nice. And I also think that, I think that I still sleep with one eye open, and I don't know if it'll ever come back. And I don't know if I'm ready to make that kind of commitment. So I'd rather live like a Texican gypsy and just go around the world and kind of see, who knows, I might be here until I'm 100 years old and I will have rented everywhere in the world, but then I would have had all those wonderful experiences. Personally, no, I don't think I could lock myself down to purchasing here, or maybe not anywhere. It's not ironically, I'm a realtor, but I already did it.
You're free, you're liberated.
I am.
And I love that's very true. As soon as you decide to go, hey, I'm going to buy something here, then you're a lot of people lock themselves in.
The stress and anxiety. I'm not getting any younger, and I don't know. I don't feel like I had a mortgage to raise my daughters and for them to live in a nice neighborhood in San Antonio and so on and so forth. They're grown. They have their own mortgages. They have their own. So I'm free. I get to. I'm really enjoying this little wandering around concept. But yeah,
that's great. The so we talked. So you hit on 250 for a house.
I would say 250 for a house.
And that's a really nice, secure, new built house.
Yeah, between 250 and 500.
Okay.
Obviously, 500 will get you something really amazing, and much more than 500 would get you in mainstream USA.
Yeah. How much would that house sell for? The one that you stay in?
This one?
Yeah, if they were to sell that.
I think it would sell for about 400.
For about 400,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
4 to 5 possibly. It needs there's one small area that's to get up here because it's up on a hill that needs to be developed. Maybe not developed, but the road needs to be. That's all. I think once that is done, you can you can ask 500 for it, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it looks like, from what I gather, I'm looking at about 1,000 to 1,500. You can rent a nice house.
Absolutely.
Do they have just apartments that people can rent there, like in the downtown area, in the nice area where you can, are there flats that you
They're
can
like
rent,
little
or
casitas,
casitas? Okay.
or like you'll find like not apartment complexes. You'll find like a home that's maybe been broken down with a courtyard in the center,
Gotcha.
you know?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like that, or like a house that has another back house with maybe 3 or 4 different apartments. They're all, all the walls are attached, and people are like, well, I don't want my wall attached. Well,
Yeah.
then you're gonna have to drop 500,000.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
Oh, you want a backyard? Okay, and you have so many dogs or cats, or you want to have chickens and all that. Then land is scarce here, so you're gonna have to pay for it.
okay.
Yeah.
So we'll say like 1,000, 1,500. So it looks like people can pretty comfortably live anywhere from a 1,000 to 2,000 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, really breaking it down. And if you really want to live more lavishly, obviously you could probably do that 2,500, 3,000, 4,000 a month.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Come with $2,000 or 2,500 and you're a king.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the food in and around San Miguel, how's the food, the authentic food, and like, what is, help our viewers understand what authentic Mexican food is? Because people in America, they think that they're eating Mexican food all the time, but it's really like,
Right.
it's not really Mexican.
No.
Yeah.
So the beauty, just like in the US, in any country, right? The beauty of Mexican food is, or anywhere in the world, is agriculturally, you use what is available in your space, right? So if you go to a beach town, you're in, Veracruz, you're gonna have some amazing ceviche. In San Miguel, you'll find a lot of beautiful cuts of meat. Borrego is sheep, like meat also.
Borrego.
Consomé de borrego is like a soup type of with that's made out of sheep, a borrego. You'll have a lot of goat meat. I said cows. You have a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. Actually, our neighbors just came by and gave us some melons and squash that grow from their vines next door, and I thought that was really sweet. So, I don't know, from cauliflower to, it's very, very, very delicious, very rich. It's very healthy, actually. Not everything is like rice and beans here.
Yeah.
It's again, because what is available to this region are, like I said, a lot of meats, a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables. It's healthy. It's delicious. The spices, the flavors,
Yeah.
It's, God, I wish I could, like there was a way to relay a flavor via a screen, because they're so rich. I mean, I had a cauliflower at a local restaurant and I thought, whatever, cauliflower, I'm over it. In the US, it's like beaten to a pulp. Well, no, they grill it and then they put this like lime juice on it. And so it's kind of crunchy on the outside and really soft on the inside. And big cauliflower that they like cut apart for you right in front of you. They squeeze the lime juice and they put this special like sauce. It's amazing. Like I said, last night I had a steak. It was so delicious. That was on some mashed potatoes. The tacos, you can find, tacos here are like corn tacos. You don't use flour. Burritos are not a Mexican thing. So the whole burritos, chalupas, no, no. There's something called a huarache, which is like a slice of like long bread, like a oval shaped bread where you put beans on it and then cheese and then whatever meat and avocado. That's called a huarache. Maybe close to chalupa or whatever people call it. So burritos aren't a thing, and what's it? It's a lot.
Enchilada.
Their enchiladas are more northern, I believe.
Okay.
More. I see a lot of mole here, different colors of mole. That's not just brown, it's green, it's red, it's yellow, it's amazing. You can find it in like tubs and they scoop it out, they put it in a bag and you use that pre-made mole for your chicken. And yeah, the colors, the smells are fabulous. You can get food as spicy or not as spicy, which is kind of neat. It's controlled.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Are there a lot of street food options
all
in
over
San Miguel? All over.
Gorditas. The gorditas are like little sandwiches type of thing. They're very greasy, very bad for you, but they're so good.
Yeah.
I know. Those are so delicious. So you'll find, like, for example, one woman right around the corner every morning we see her out there with her little like igloo, like little thing. Oh, no, you okay? Sorry. Like her little cooler and selling her gorditas for like, I don't know, 5 pesos. Like that's $2.
Yeah.
Or less. No, I lied. What is it? $1? It's cheap.
Yeah.
And
Barato.
people line up. Sí, está demasiado barato. People line up and a lot of people are afraid to try the street food because they worry about the Moctezuma's revenge and blah blah blah. And, it could happen, but
yeah, they worry about, what is it?
It's called Moctezuma's revenge.
Really?
Diarrhea.
Oh, okay. So getting sick on this. Yeah.
You get sick from like street food, corn, things like that.
Yeah.
But, the only time it ever happened to me was bad pork in Mexico, and that's because I ate it at somebody's house and they didn't prepare it well. It wasn't a restaurant, it wasn't a street vendor.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that the pork had sat out all night. So
Yeah.
I felt like I was gonna die, but other than that.
Yeah.
But you should take some precautions. Luckily, there's also a pharmacy in every corner where you can just kind of be vigilant and like I said, the food is in every corner. Tacos, gorditas, you name it. It's amazing.
Nice. Okay. Well, and the only other thing that we didn't talk about, and you just kind of mentioned pharmacy, but healthcare. If you get sick, I mean, is it in San Miguel? Is it accessible?
In San Miguel, yes, there is one. It used to not exist, but now there is one hospital here. But to get to see a specialist per se, you would have to go to Querétaro for something that's a little more intense. Querétaro is only a little over an hour away, so it's no different than Laredo and going to San Antonio for better healthcare.
Yeah. What's the name of that town again?
Querétaro.
How do you spell that?
Queretaro.
Okay.
Querétaro. That's the capital city
Querétaro.
and the state.
Okay. Querétaro. All right.
You got it. You said it right.
Yeah.
Querétaro. So you go there for a specialist, cancer, heart, anything like that, burn specialist, you name it. You go there. But here, for any basic thing, checkups, dental. Many people come to Mexico for dental.
Yes.
So if you're coming as a cash payer, right, it's extremely affordable.
Yes.
What people don't understand is in Mexico, you can find many prescription drugs here for such a reasonable price, because it is not overrun by pharmaceuticals, you know.
Mhm.
And so the cost is very reasonable. Dental work is very reasonable. LASIK eye surgery, very reasonable. Botox even is extremely reasonable.
Mhm.
Plastic surgery, reasonable.
Yeah.
Chemotherapy, reasonable.
Yeah.
It's all now, if you become a private citizen, then you have access to their medical, you know, you pay into the tax system, right? You're a
Yeah.
private citizen, you're now paying taxes, you pay into the tax system. And no, it's not socialism like a Marxist way. It is you know, democratic socialism where you do pay for it. It's not free. You like I said, and in turn, universities are covered as well as your healthcare. You walk in, you don't pay a dime.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Like
Yes.
many European countries, it's the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's tough in the US. I mean, the insurance is out of control in the
Ridiculous.
US. Did you now when you went through your cancer challenge, I mean, did you go to the hospitals in the US
Yes,
or in Mexico? You did. Did
in
you
the
have
US.
you had pretty good insurance?
I did. I did.
Okay, good.
I did. I was in San Antonio and I got great treatment actually at the university hospital,
Oh,
believe it or not.
awesome.
And the reconstructive surgery was done at a private hospital, by a private group. And they're amazing. People from all over the world go there. You know, it was either there or I would go to Houston, but there wasn't any.
Yeah.
The healthcare was just as good in San Antonio. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Now, Renata, we pretty much covered everything. Is there anything else you want to share with the audience about San Miguel de Allende that we didn't cover? I mean, we covered pretty much everything I can think of.
Yeah,
Transportation, food,
right.
cost of living,
Yeah.
um,
Cost of living,
but
transportation, food,
the magical atmosphere.
magic. There's no other way to describe it. It's magic.
Yeah.
I want to say two things. One is if you're not a gardener, you're going to become one here, whether you like it or not, or maybe you'll hire one. But I am floored that I can buy a rose bush here for $1.50. A whole
Wow.
bush, a
Wow.
whole rose bush,
Yeah.
for $1.50. And so now, you know, in my Airbnbs, I've always in the U.S. and Sicily, I've always had fresh clipped roses and put in the bedrooms.
Hmm.
And so this is amazing. I love it. So the gardening, the bougainvilleas, the beauty, a lot of the beauty has to do with the greenery around here.
Yeah.
It's so affordable, it's so beautiful. Something so simple and natural and right here, you know, and accessible makes a world of difference of how you see the world here. And number two, so yeah, that's part of its beauty. And if you come and you decide to live here, there's so many viveros is what they're called, which are nurseries
Hmm.
that are very reasonably priced and they're very helpful. The most important thing I would say regarding considering coming here would be come here first, you know, come here first, get yourself, you know, a ticket back and forth, try to make it for at least a 2-week stay. Try to find someone, maybe, you know, a realtor, try to find the realtor to connect you with some people that have the same interests that you do. If you're a hiker, if you're a naturist and you take pictures of birds, try to connect with those people because that's what you're going to want to be doing. You know, try it first. Just come chill here in an Airbnb for 2 weeks and immerse yourself in it. Learn a few words before you get here. Don't make assumptions about, you know, how long you should be able to stay or how long you can stay. 2 weeks is reasonable. You can go up to the boss of the guy and say, look, I'm just going for a vacation, and they will. But yeah, I think that's the best way to approach deciding if San Miguel is a place that you want to be, you know.
It's great advice. And I agree. It's well, Renata, Valentina Montemayor.
I love it.
Thank you so much for being on this podcast and sharing your story and all of the wonderful tips, your journey, and your friends behind you, your dogs and your beautiful place.
Charlie.
I really appreciate it. Thanks again for doing this.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for trusting me with the information I have to relay. And I really do hope people come and enjoy and see. I hope you make it out here. And then we could reconnect. You can tell me if you feel that it is magical or not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to take you up on that one day.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, you have a wonderful rest of the evening, and thanks again.
Thanks. You too.
Okay. Mucho
Good
gusto.
night.
Ciao.
Igualmente.